and welcome to this week's IG Live. Today we are going to be talking to an author with a brand new book out. We're talking to Chavonne Mateen, and she has a new book that is called Shaylah Martson and the Rogue Roots. So she's going to tell us all about it. It's a fantasy book, and it features a black heroine. And some of you may be familiar, of course, with the artist who does the illustrations, and that's our very own Charlene Mosley. So we're going to find out all about the book and what makes this so special. It's a middle grade YA book. Hold on just a minute. About the friendship, courage, the journey of self-discovery that's in the book. And of course, we know that books are such a wonderful way to get these messages to kids. Hi.
Hi.
So
good
good to talk to you. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share this passion project of mine. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us about the book. Is this something that you've always wanted to do, to be a writer?
So my name is Chavonne Mateen. First and foremost, again, thank you for having me. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm an HR technologist in my daytime job. I'm also an author and a philanthropist. I love giving back. That's something that I'm very passionate about within my community. But being a writer is not something that I always wanted to do. It's something that I kind of challenged myself to do within my career transition. I kind of made a list of things that I wanted to accomplish. And I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I recall when that first came out, it like changed the game for us and my family. And so hey, Charlene, sorry, I see my fave on there. Hey. So definitely it changed the game for us, and definitely wanted to kind of put a spin on that genre by adding my 2 cents to it. So Shaylah Martson and the Rogue Roots was born over a breakfast that I cooked for my family. I just decided, hey, I want to write something. I love Harry Potter, just kind of felt like something was missing, like some more brown people. And I thought, hey, why not? So that's how it was born.
Well, I love it. And so tell us more about that inspiration behind it. So you love the Harry Potter, wanted to have a more diverse, some more diverse characters. Where did you come up with the overall story for it?
So again, it was just one Saturday. I was finished making lunch, brunch for my family, and we kind of sig. I don't know if you know what sigging is, but yeah, we were doing the dozens, parents against the kids, and I said, you know what? I was telling my husband, like, I really think I want to write a book, and I want to write it for that particular age group, and I started freestyling what I wanted it to be about. And it stuck with me. And I started writing out the chapters of what I wanted this book to be about, and kind of the beginning, middle, and end. And I just started filling in the blanks, and it took off from there.
That is amazing. I love that you had this idea. I think there's so many people that have an idea, they think about it, but you actually did it. You know what I mean? A lot of people just talk about it, but they don't actually carry it through. So I love that you did that. And it's such an interesting story. It's a fantasy. So what do you love about this genre?
So with the fantasy genre, I love that you can kind of push the limits with it. It's you can really take it to a whole nother level. And that's exactly what I did with this book. It's intergalactic. It's a fantasy family adventure, and it's something that people can relate to of all ages. It definitely has those themes of family sticking together, which is very important to me. And I just wanted to be able to kind of push the bounds with that imagination that is kind of lacking, social media, electronics, and things of that nature, technology taking over. So I wanted to definitely kind of push the limit there and have a book that could easily transition to something on film.
Oh yeah, I love that. And I should mention that. I don't think I had put that in the questions, but do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Because that is really exciting that you see this not just as a book, but that it could maybe be on Netflix someday or something along those lines. Tell us about that.
Exactly. So when I wrote the story, I wanted to make sure that people could kind of easily see this and envision how I wrote those words and kind of picture every scene imaginable. As you can see, Charlene, very talented. I sent her an excerpt of how I wanted the book cover to look, and she captured it down to the T. When I tell you she's absolutely amazing, highly recommend Charlene. But definitely, I wanted to have that something tangible, right? That, hey, this can easily be saw on film. And so when she created the book cover, I knew that I had something there because she easily just transitioned that book cover, and it turned out to be absolutely amazing.
Yes, and I should mention, of course, Charlene, we've interviewed on here a few times before. She's one of our favorites. And if you haven't seen the cover for this particular book, be sure go and take a look at it because it is just
It
gorgeous. And I love
is.
the idea of, like you said, because it's something that that she was able to capture the image so well that I could definitely see this being taken to a movie or a series or something. And I'm also curious, you said that this book has something for everybody, but of course it is targeted mostly towards middle age to YA. What do you love about writing for this group? What made you decide to do it for that age group?
I decided to do it for this age group for one, that a lot of times we're distracted, right? And I can tell that with this age group, it's a lot of distraction. So I wanted to write something that people could identify with in this particular age group. And also just something that they can say, well, hey, she wrote this book for my demographic. Maybe it might be something I'm interested in. And this adult woman used her imagination to pull this story together. It might be something I might be interested in doing in the future. So I definitely wanted to do something that they could love in this age group and kind of share and relate to.
I love that it's not only that they can relate to it as a reader, but also it can kind of inspire them to write their own stories and use their own imagination, which is amazing because it's so empowering for kids to do that. And of course, being for this age group, it's a coming of age story, which, as you said, something very relatable to them, and it has the themes of friendship, courage, self-discovery. What do you hope that they take away from reading the book?
For sure. So just by me creating this book, I started about 5 years ago, 3 different rewrites, very heavy, right? And so with that being said, I went on my own type of self-discovery, just trying to learn more about who I was and who my roots were and, who are my fourth great grandparents. And so with that said, I wanted to kind of, solidify more of who I was and be more grounded in my writing. And I felt like I did that with those pauses and that, the writer block moment that everybody has, right? And so during those times of writer's block, I took that time to learn more about me, learn more about my roots. And so it was very important to me. And that's something that I express when I do go out and talk to the youth. Do you know who your fourth great grandparents are? And if you don't, I challenge you to find out, because then once you do that, you'll be more grounded as a person in who you are, and also kind of help you along your journey as far as what you should be doing in life or what you aspire to be doing in life. So I think that was one of the things that was really important to me while writing this book, for sure.
I love that. I love that you had writer's block. I mean, again, this just speaks to your personality, the fact that you had this idea and you carried it out, but also when you reached challenges, you used it as an opportunity,
Yeah.
Really get introspective and then take it even further and use it to inspire the young people. And one of the things that I love is that you do a lot to inspire kids or young people, I should say. I know they're not necessarily kids; they're a little older, to write their own stories. Like I know you just had a writing contest on your website recently. What is it about writing and telling their own stories that is so empowering?
I think once people or once children and the youth, they decide, hey, I can do these things, I can do whatever I want to do in my life. I feel like that is very important for them to kind of solidify their name in the ether.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to go back and look at your roots and look at who you are and look at the trail that may or may not have been left behind, some people may not find anything. And so with that, I wanted to challenge people to say, hey, you know what, let me go ahead and add my 2 cents in there. So that way you can leave behind some breadcrumbs for their own descendants to find something creative, right? And so that was very important for me, just to let people know, why don't you leave something behind? Leave something behind creative too, and make sure that it's going to 10x the joy of their own descendants for years to come.
I love that. And maybe we should pause a moment and can you tell us, I mean, we've kind of talked about what kind of story, some of the themes of the story, but can you give us a little bit more about the plot for those who don't know anything about it?
Sure. So Shaylah Martson and the Road Groups, it's heavily centered around this young girl. She's coming into her own. She's a little bit troubled in school, causing a little bit of problems, her and her friend. But she is starting womanhood. She's
Mhm.
going into this journey. And she's being tasked with saving her grandfather, who is being held hostage on another planet.
Mm.
And so she's going to her grandmother's, and her grandmother is letting her know, like, hey, you have these superpowers and we're going to actually need you to activate them to save your grandfather, who she thought was dead her whole life.
Mm.
And so that's kind of mostly the plot. Don't want to give
Yeah.
too much away, but it's super fun. They go on an epic adventure from another planet down to earth, down through the Midwest. So it's a super fun story. Highly recommend you all go out, buy a copy for yourself, buy one for someone in your space or a child that you might know who may not have an interest in reading, but I'm sure that they may find something they can relate to in this story.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, like you said, that is so great about a book like this is that it can really draw in kids who maybe don't think of themselves as readers, or they don't think that they're really interested in books, and then here's something that kind of it'll draw them in more, because maybe they're also Harry Potter fans or fantasy fans, and especially having a character that they can really relate to and they can see themselves in this story is so amazing. So is
Right.
this going to be a series, or what else are you working on?
Great question. So, throughout my community, like I said, philanthropy is very important to me. So, I love to give back in a way that I can. I've been doing immersive author visits. Charlene and Megan Joseph, who is my editor, had the opportunity to join me at one that I recently did at my alma mater, which was Innovation Central High School. And so, that's what I like to do: immersive author visits. I know sometimes these things can be boring, but I want to get people involved. I want to get the kids up and moving around and having fun and playing games and things of that nature. So you can find me in the community doing author visits. You can find me doing more interviews as well. I will have book two, starting on book two. I kind of took a little bit of a break, but I will be doing book two for this particular series for sure. So definitely look out for that. But more to come on this author visit. I'll definitely be at more schools. Hopefully we can do some out of the state of Michigan. So if anyone wants me to come to their school, definitely reach out to me. You can reach me at ShaylahMartson@gmail.com.
I love that. And I love that you're taking the time to do these author visits. I mean, especially going back to your old high school, that must have been so special for the kids. What kind of reaction did you get from them?
Oh my goodness, it was such an amazing time. It felt surreal to be there because again, you're coming from that space and now you're an adult and you're in a giving back type of mode. And when I tell you we had a DJ, it was really fun. A bunch of games. I read an excerpt of the book, had Charlene on the big screen, and we were doing our Q&A, and they absolutely loved every moment of it. So just being able to do things like that is very meaningful to me. Staying focused and just kind of drowning out any distractions, and I'm just laser focused on making sure that this book gets the love that it deserves.
Well, wonderful. And thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us about it today. And like I said, if you go to the link in your bio, you can find out more about the book, see the gorgeous cover, read a little bit more about the story, get your own copy for yourself or for some kids in your life, and watch out for those author visits, or contact the author about doing maybe a visit in your kid's school. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
If you are
you.
Yeah, and if you're watching us, if you just joined us late, this is going to be up in a few minutes on Instagram and later on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for
Thank
talking with us today.
you so much. Have a great one, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.